Extrinsic motivation refers to behavior driven by external rewards or punishments, such as money, grades, or recognition. For example, a student who studies hard in order to receive high grades, even though they don't enjoy studying, is exemplifying extrinsic motivation. The opposite of extrinsic motivation is intrinsic motivation. While extrinsic motivation arises from external rewards or penalties, intrinsic motivation stems from an internal desire or interest in a task. Pause the screen now to scan some common examples of extrinsic motivators. Now, I'll present 3 benefits and 3 limitations of extrinsic motivation. The first benefit we'll look at is goal-oriented behaviors. Extrinsic motivation can help motivate us to strive towards specific, measurable outcomes by providing clear rewards for goal achievement. For example, we see this in the workplace when someone receives a bonus for reaching their sales targets. This helps us to achieve a goal even when the activity itself might not be inherently enjoyable or meaningful. The second big benefit of extrinsic motivation is specific for teachers and parents. It helps with behavior management. In educational settings, extrinsic motivation, such as providing rewards or enforcing consequences, can be used as a tool to manage and guide children's behavior. The goal is to encourage compliance and adherence to rules, which can help maintain order and predictability. Thirdly, extrinsic motivators are great for stimulating fast action, especially when the rewards or consequences are particularly strong. For example, my alarm clock lives in my kitchen. Every morning when it wakes me up, I'm extremely motivated to jump out of bed, run to the kitchen, and turn it off for the reward of silence. While extrinsic motivation has obvious benefits, we need to also be aware of its downsides. Again, we'll look at 3. The first downside of extrinsic motivation is it can lead to dependency and diminished intrinsic motivation. Repeated reliance on extrinsic motivators can lead to dependency, where individuals may cease to engage in a behavior without external rewards or threats. Research shows that it can even reduce intrinsic motivation, as the external rewards can shift a person's perception of why they are engaging in an activity, from doing it for its own sake to doing it for the reward. The second downside of extrinsic motivation is that it can decrease the quality of task performance. While extrinsic motivation can stimulate us into action, especially for straightforward and repetitive tasks, it may not necessarily enhance the quality or creativity of performance. When individuals are primarily driven by rewards or punishments, they may focus on meeting just the minimal requirements to obtain the reward or avoid the penalty, rather than striving for genuine mastery or innovative solutions. Thirdly, extrinsic motivation tends to have a short-lived impact. Extrinsic motivation often provides a quick boost in effort and engagement that might wane once the reward has been achieved or the threat has been avoided. It may not support sustained interest or continuous improvement in a task or role over the long term. In fact, it might even create a yo-yo effect of fluctuating motivation levels in response to the presence or absence of external stimuli. Intrinsic motivation, on the other hand, tends to be more consistent and persistent. Now we've covered extrinsic motivation. Let's dive straight into intrinsic motivation and why it is often a better thing to aim for. Click the video on screen now for a 3-minute guide on the benefits of intrinsic motivation.